because this is how I roll and I'm selfish. I like to have friendlies all around me, Marshall. So I reached out to my dear friend Charles Barkley to call in because, Charles, nothing makes me smile like you. So welcome back onto the show.
Up? What's up? Merry Christmas to you guys and the rest of the world. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Charles. You just got off a flight, I can imagine, after watching those games last night. I just talked to Shaquille, who is busy cooking in his kitchen for a cooking show because he's not busy enough. And he was making the following. He was making ribs, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken. What else, Marshall? Lamb chops, pork chops, and there's his giant fingers in there trying to flip over some pork chops. I mean, this is scary. My question for you is, what can you make me for lunch?
I'm a grill guy. First of all, if you think he's cooking all that stuff, you're crazy. He's not cooking any of that stuff. He might have somebody there cooking it for him, but he ain't cooking it himself.
No, we have him on tape, Charles. We have him actually on tape cooking it himself.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to see that tape and that show. Susan, I'm a griller. I'm not great in the kitchen, but I'm great on the grill. I can get you, first of all, the greatest food ever might be a hot dog.
Okay.
I love hot dogs.
Is it a kosher hot dog at least? I mean, come on.
No.
But listen, I'm from the hood. We don't worry about kosher. We just want to eat anything we can get our hands on.
Is it organic? Is it organic and grass-fed?
No.
First of all, organic is not even a thing. I think they tell people it's organic so they can put like an extra $5 on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't believe there's anything. Organic is just like, let's just call it organic. Because people in California, they'll pay extra for everything.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Whole Foods figured it out.
Because I always tell people have been doing this stuff for 1,000 years, and they didn't drop dead eating regular stuff. But now when people want to charge you more, they just throw organic on there or non-GMO, whatever the hell that means.
I love it.
They got another scam going, Mark. They call it gluten-free.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do gluten-free. That tastes terrible.
Listen, I can't figure it out, Chuck. I'm like, so you've been shopping at these stores before there was a Whole Foods, but now you only go to Whole Foods so they could charge you double the price? Okay. All right.
Yeah, my daughter calls Whole Foods whole paycheck.
Right, because it is. What would you used to eat when you used to carbo load up for a game? And I'm saying that with all due respect.
To Marshall or me?
To you.
Oh, I ate 2 fish fillets, a large fry, and I washed it down with a Diet Coke.
The Diet Coke.
Hey, listen, I'm not even, I ain't going to even lie. And Marshall probably know this too. Like these guys today, they be going all vegan and crap like that. I'm like, yo, man. On the way home from practice, I grabbed me 2 fish fillets, a large fry, and I washed it down with a Diet Coke. And I never worried about the carbo load and all that other crap. If you can play, you can play. I'm a firm believer in that. Listen, if you can't play, eating healthy ain't going to make you no better player.
Well, I did see your cardio last night in racing to the big screen back there. I was afraid you might pull a hammy.
Charles.
Hey, I got to get out of the blocks factor. I got to call the great Edwin Moses, somebody like that, and so I can work on getting out of the blocks.
Why don't you call Rich Eisen? Maybe he can give me. You might actually beat him in that 40.
Nope.
No? Listen, I've seen Rich run. Trust me. He stick to his day job.
Yeah, Rich is bad out of the blocks. That is.
Please, he's running out of living with me. Are you kidding? That's why he's starting to run faster and faster. All right, let's talk about 30 seconds of real basketball before we just continue with the just total mess that will usually be an interview that we do. Giannis last night, when you watched him play, everyone's using all these big words and fancy sayings. We're passing the torch and what have you. Are we making too much of it, or was last night a monumental night in the association?
Well, I don't think it was just last night. I mean, he is the reigning MVP. He's taking the torch. He's not asking for it. It reminds me of Michael Jordan, and obviously we all talk about that. Remember that time when it was Magic and Bird? Michael says, no, I'm taking the torch. thank y'all for everything y'all did for us, but no, it's my time now. And Giannis is doing that. Listen, LeBron's great. James Harden's great. KD's a great player when he comes back. But Giannis is taking the torch. I mean, he's a guy who won the MVP, and it's gotten better over the summer. He's making threes. I mean, think about it. We said last year he couldn't shoot. Now he's shooting. He's making threes, and he took the torch. He's the best basketball player in the world. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is great also, but Giannis is the best player in the world right now. And not only that, the thing he does to Michael, remember when Michael was the best player, he was the best defensive player. Giannis is probably the best defensive player we got in the NBA. That's what makes him double great.
So let's move it forward. And can Giannis and the Bucks, and Giannis being the only superstar that the Bucks have, can he win the title?
Well, there's 3 teams that can win the title, in my opinion.
That's it.
That's it. The Bucks, and there's no particular order, the Lakers and the Clippers. Those are 3 elite teams. They have separated themselves from the other teams in the NBA. Philadelphia's been a disappointment. Utah's been a disappointment. But Milwaukee is head and shoulders above everybody in the East. And the Lakers and the Clippers are the only 2 teams in the West that you can say, one of those teams is going to win the West. I mean, Denver has not played great. Utah, like I said, Utah's been a disappointment. Portland's been a disappointment. But listen, the Lakers and the Clippers are head and shoulders above anybody in the West.
So should the Lakers get Andre Iguodala, is that enough?
Well, I actually said that last night, not on the air. I was talking to Kenny. I said, man, Iguodala's going to be huge for somebody because the Lakers bench is not even comparable to the Clippers bench. I mean, Harrell and Lou Williams, the Lakers don't have anybody like that. But, Iguodala, if he comes back, whoever he goes to, he's going to help. But he'd be a great pickup for the Lakers. But like I say, it's the Lakers and the Clippers in the West, head and shoulders above everybody.
And when you look at how a team is put together, Charles, I mean, obviously you and I talked a lot last year when I was doing a show for the Lakers, and I'm looking at their bench and their depth. And it seems to me that, yes, they have AD, they have LeBron James, but they've put together a steadfast, strong, deep bench for the Clippers that is – it doesn't have to be as big of a name. It has to be consistency coming off the bench, and that's what we're seeing. And, they may have lost last night, but they had 2 guys get ejected for fighting, which is, let's just say, if they hadn't been ejected, there's a solid
2
shot
key
they would have won that game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened last night. That was kind of weird. I don't know what Lou Williams went crazy for. And I saw Doc Rivers said, they lost their composure. But listen, the Clippers, they probably have, Lou Williams is the best bench player in the NBA. And Harold, man, his energy level is through the roof. I love watching him play. But Lou Williams, man, he is unbelievable. The Lakers, what's going to be interesting is the Kyle Kuzma situation, how they use him. He might be the guy they have to use coming off the bench because he's not going to get a lot of shots if he's out there with LeBron and AD. He might become a Lou Williams type guy. When he comes in, he just got carte blanche to just let it go anytime he get it. But right now, the Lakers and the Clippers bench is much better than the Lakers bench.
And, he got a lot of looks last year because he had to. They needed him to get those looks because nobody else was out there. He's also a little injury prone, don't you think?
Well, I think, listen, he's not going to play those killer minutes. I mean, because now you got 2 of the best players in the world in Paul and Kawhi. So he don't have to have he's not going to have to play those killer minutes because, last year they weren't very good. He had to play pretty much the whole game. And now he can be selective. So that's going to help him stay healthy and be more effective.
Hey, Charles, when you look at the league, I know you say only 3 teams have a chance. Give me one other team that if they get a piece, or let's say their superstar decides to play like a superstar, that they have a chance. Who would that be?
Oh, it's easily the Philadelphia 76ers. If Joel Embiid play like he's capable of, or Ben Simmons picks up his level, that's the only other team can get in the conversation. You got two guys who can dominate a game anytime they're on the court, but they're inconsistent. But it's Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's the only other team I see could get in the equation. Because, like I say, Giannis don't have no running mate. But if Embiid and Simmons start doing their thing, they got two great players against one. And obviously, two great players compared to one gives you an advantage. But the only other team I see doing that is Philadelphia.
I think it's just too easy to ask you about Joel Embiid. I mean, every single show on the planet's asked you about him this week, about why he's got to be in your bonnet.
Well, Susie, I said this when I was doing Mike Wilbon's and Tony Cook's Part the Interruption, which is a great show, two of my favorite people. And Marshall knows this. Your best players, and it sounds stupid when I say it, your best players have to be your best players. Like when Marshall was the best running back in the NFL, he wasn't. They didn't want to go survive with the backup. Marshall had to be Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some people like, man, you our best player. Be our best player. You can't ask role players and backups to be your best players and carry you every night. That's why they're role players and backups. They're not as good as starters. So I challenge Joel Embiid, be the best player on the court every night. Listen, when you watch the Milwaukee Bucks play, you know Giannis is going to be the best player on his team and on the court most nights. And then everybody else is going to follow. But if your best player is out there and he's not going to be the best player every night, your team is not going to win. Because, Susie, the NBA is different than other sports. And what I mean by that is you have to win 4 out of 7. This is not a one-and-done scenario where a role player or a bench guy can go crazy one night and steal a football game or pitch a great game in baseball or have a great night in hockey. In the NBA, you have to beat a team 4 times in a week. And if your best players don't lead you, you're not going to win. It's plain and simple.
Well, he's clearly listening to you, Charles, because his play picked up since you said that all to him. Who do you like for the weekend for the National Football League? Because I know you have your eye on that league as well.
Well, I got a house in Philly, so I'm an Eagles fan, and I can't wait for that game. Those two teams, the Phillies had a bunch of injuries this year. The Cowboys, I don't know what the hell going on down there. I mean, you got a terrific quarterback, you got a great running back, you got a great wide receiver, and you're 7-7. So that's going to be must-see TV this weekend. I can't wait to watch the game. But the other game I'm watching, I got to watch the Bills against the Patriots Saturday because I want to see if there's a changing of the guard. This might be the end of the Patriots dynasty. Yeah, because they have not played well. Their defense has been amazing. Tom has not played great this year. But this might be if they lose this game at home, I think it's fair to say it is over for the Patriots. And I know, hey, we probably said that before, but this time it seems a little bit different because, Tom, who's the greatest football player ever, and like I said, he's in a conversation with Tiger as the greatest jocks of all time. I think you could. I tell people, Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer, maybe the greatest athlete ever. But Tom Brady is in that conversation. But he says he want to play these 45. And Marshall Taylor, we all want to play till we're 45. Yeah. But we quit. But we quit for a reason because Father Time is undefeated. And I'm listen. And like I say, I don't know if at some point you just can't play anymore. Yeah. And I tell you what, if the Buffalo Bills are able to go into Foxborough and win that game, I think it's the end of the dynasty.
Well, we will see if Santa brings that
Charles,
lump of coal or not.
One more question. I know you're a huge college football fan. what has it been like dealing with Shaquille with LSU playing the way they playing right now?
It has been unbearable every week. Hey, every week. You know what? It's ever since Auburn played them.
Oh, yeah.
It started that week, and then he's been unbearable. But you know what? It's such a good story with that Burrow kid.
Yeah.
Not getting to play. And his speech at the Heisman Trophy, and I see they've raised like $250,000 for a homeless people's shelter in his little hometown, which is even more amazing.
Yeah, he's an amazing kid.
Yeah, but you just love to see somebody who's so humble, who played great all year and deserved the Heisman Trophy, but thinking about other people. And I tell you what he did that was amazing to me watching that speech.
Oh, but you know what I have to do, Charles? Believe it or not,
What?
I have to cut you off because we're going to go dark in 5 seconds. I'm saying Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Merry
holidays to you,
Christmas
Charles.
from the Rich
Christmas,
Eisen
Chuck.
Show. We are appreciative to all of you stop by. I'm sorry to cut off Charles.
Great job,
It kills
Susie.
me.
Great job, Marshall.
Thanks to Shaq. Thanks to Emmett. Thanks to Marshall. Thanks to you all. Merry Christmas.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.